The year was 1958. America was in the middle of an important chapter in history. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, the nation was experiencing a post-war boom, and people were looking toward a bright future. But little did anyone know that tucked away in the everyday change passed from hand to hand was a coin that decades later would become one of the most talked about treasures among collectors. The 1958 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. At first glance, it looks just like any ordinary penny. Small, copper-colored, with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the 2 stalks of wheat on the back. Millions of these coins were produced in 1958, and for many people, it was just another piece of pocket change used to buy a loaf of bread, a cup of coffee, or a newspaper. But for coin enthusiasts, numismatists, and treasure hunters, the 1958 penny carries a story much richer than its face value. Let's dive deep into the fascinating world of this coin, its design, its history, its minting process, the errors that make certain pieces rare, and of course, its present-day value for collectors across the globe. The penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was revolutionary for its time. Before then, no actual person had appeared on United States coinage. The 1909 design was the first to feature a real individual, Abraham Lincoln, one of the most admired presidents in American history. His portrait was created by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born engraver whose initials, VDB, would spark controversy and fascination. By 1958, nearly half a century later, the Lincoln wheat cent had become a staple in American currency. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1958 penny itself. On the obverse, or the front side, we see the iconic bust of Lincoln facing right. Above him, the words, "In God We Trust," remind us of the national motto. To his left, the word, "Liberty," appears, symbolizing the founding ideals of the nation. To his right, the date, 1958, is boldly struck, and importantly, there is no mint mark beneath it. That absence tells us the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use a mint mark on its coins. Flip the penny over, and you'll find the reverse side with the words, 1 cent, large and centered, flanked on each side by wheat stalks, hence the nickname, wheat penny. Above it reads, E pluribus unum, the Latin phrase meaning, out of many one, and at the bottom, United States of America. This design, with its simplicity and symbolic imagery, was used from 1909 until 1958, after which it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That means 1958 was the very last year that the wheat penny was produced, making it especially significant to collectors. But what makes this coin more than just a piece of copper? Why do collectors search for it, and what details set certain 1958 pennies apart from the rest? One of the biggest factors is condition. Like all coins, a 1958 wheat penny can be found in a variety of states, from heavily circulated and worn to pristine, uncirculated examples that look as if they just left the mint yesterday. Collectors use a grading scale to determine a coin's condition, with terms like good, fine, extremely fine, and mint state. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1958 penny that's been in circulation for decades, showing scratches and smoothing, may only be worth a few cents above its face value. But one preserved in near-perfect condition with sharp details and full luster can command an impressive price. Another factor that influences the value of the 1958 penny is errors and varieties. Sometimes during the minting process, mistakes occur. A die may strike the coin incorrectly, a doubling of the design might happen, or the planchet might be flawed. Collectors often prize these errors because they are unique and rare. In the case of the 1958 penny, the most famous variety is the 1958 double die obverse. On these rare coins, the doubling is visible in the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Only a handful of these coins are known to exist, and they are among the most valuable wheat pennies ever discovered. It's important to note that not every 1958 penny has such dramatic errors. In fact, the vast majority do not. But even without errors, the coin remains historically significant as the last year of the wheat design. That alone gives it collectible appeal. Now, let's step back for a moment and think about what life was like in 1958 when these coins were first minted. Gasoline was just around 25 cents per gallon. A movie ticket cost about $1. Elvis Presley was climbing the music charts, and NASA was founded that year as America entered the space race. For the average American, a penny had real purchasing power. It could buy a piece of candy, a stick of gum, or be saved up with a few more to pay for something larger. Fast forward to today, and while a penny won't get you much at the store, a specific 1958 wheat penny could bring in more than you could imagine. So, how do you know if the penny you find in your change jar or tucked away in an old box is valuable? First, check the date. If it says 1958 and has no mint mark, you're already holding the final year of the wheat penny. Next, examine its condition. Coins with little wear, sharp details, and original luster are more desirable. Then, look carefully for errors or doubling. If you suspect you have something rare, it's worth having the coin authenticated and graded by a professional service. Collectors today are willing to pay significant amounts for these coins, especially those in high grades or with rare varieties. The thrill of searching for a hidden treasure in a pile of coins has kept the fascination with pennies alive for generations. Many people start their coin collecting journey with wheat pennies because they're both historic and relatively accessible. But among them, certain dates like 1958 stand out. It's also worth mentioning that 1958 marked a transition in American coinage. The end of the wheat design in favor of the Lincoln Memorial design was symbolic of a nation looking forward while still honoring its past. For those who lived during that time, the shift was noticeable. For collectors today, it adds another layer of historical value to the final wheat penny series. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket that's been around for over 60 years, one that passed through countless hands, traveled across towns and states, maybe even sat forgotten in a drawer for decades. And yet, that same coin could be a rare gem worth far beyond its humble face value. That's the magic of coin collecting, the intersection of history, artistry, and treasure hunting. The 1958 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a farewell to a beloved design, and in rare cases, a gateway to incredible value. Collectors continue to hunt for these coins, searching rolls of pennies, attending auctions, and trading with other enthusiasts. Each penny tells its own story, and together they remind us of the nation's journey, the value of preservation, and the thrill of discovery. And now comes the question everyone wants answered: what is the value of a 1958 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln wheat penny today? While many examples might only be worth a few dollars depending on condition, the rarest and most pristine ones have shocked the numismatic world with their worth. Some have fetched incredible sums at auction, making them one of the standout treasures in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. In fact, one of these coins has been valued at an astonishing $34,589.